So, hello again, everyone. This is Miss M. I'm your additional science teacher. This is a second meeting for this week's topic. Again, we will continue with the discussion of your cell organelles. But before that, I would like first to apologize for the background noises that you will be hearing while recording this video. As we go on with the topic, we will be again discussing your organelles. Some parts were discussed last meeting, but I will discuss it again so that you will remember it, and hopefully you will memorize it. And then we will try to compare your plant and animal cells. Alright, so let's now go to your lesson for today. So again, it's still cells, but today we will be discussing plant cells. Okay, so we'll be discussing the organelles of the same organelles last meeting, but we will add up some organelles that can be found only in plant cells. So this one again and again, I say the cells is the basic or the structural and functional unit of life, okay, or our living organisms. So this is the smallest part of our body. Okay. So again, organelles is a tiny cellular structure that performs a specific function within a cell. So if we are going to discuss again, organelles are parts of a cell, parts with a different function or a part with a specific function. They are embedded or they are residing or they can be found or attached in the cytoplasm. This one. And again, your pro and eukaryotic cells are different. When you say eukaryotic, there are more of the cells that are multicellular, like us humans, like plants, and like animals. While your prokaryotics are the cells that are unicellular, like bacteria and viruses. Okay? So let's go. So again, let us discuss this one. What are the purpose of these organelles? So these organelles serves as the workforce, or these organelles are performing or have a function of different, or they have a different task to be able to complete the life processes of a cell. Okay? Why these life processes are important? They are important because these are the things that the cell must do or have to do to continue living or to continue its life. So what are those things that they need to do or they have to complete? So number one, they have the life processes, intake of nutrients or taking in of food, getting nutrients. That is the first life processes of a cell. So again, even us humans, we have to eat food or we have to have something to eat so that we will continue living. So the same thing with cells, they have to have this intake of nutrients. Okay. So next one. The second one is movement. So some parts of this cell or the organelles of this cell have the function or job of helping the cell or moving the cell. Okay, so some, like for example, a sperm cell, they have to move faster. They have to swim faster so that they can reach the ovary first. So that is an example of movement, how the cell is moving. Right, so next one is growth. Of course, when you say growth, it means that the part of the cell or the cell
are growing, like they are getting bigger, they're getting smaller, they're getting stronger. So growth. Okay? When you say getting longer, it means like, for example, our hair cells, they are getting longer. Okay? Or when you say getting bigger, for example, cells of our body from infant we were small, or from baby we were small, and then now we're grown up, so we have a lot of cells, and of course it helps us, or these cells are growing. Okay, so we as well of course are growing. So next one, response to stimuli. Again, the basic the basic definition of this one is reaction. Your reaction towards the stimuli, okay, or reaction towards anything that makes you react. For example, again, in Facebook, you react to some photos or react to some videos. So that is response. Okay, so response to stimuli. So next one, we have the exchange of gases. So exchange of gases. So let me review first. What are the gases that is commonly found in our body? So we have two. We have the what? Starts with the letter C and starts with the letter O. We have your carbon dioxide and we have your oxygen. So those are the gases that usually are inside our body. So of course we take in gas, and then but what we need is of course the oxygen. Okay, and then we have also your removal of waste. When you say removal of waste, these are the things that our body don't need anymore. Like for example, excess water or the insoluble materials from the food that we eat. So those are waste products. Okay, like excess water, like sweats or like urine. So those are your waste, or those are our waste. When you say waste, like this, it's the thing that we don't need anymore. So, and next one, reproduction. When you say reproduction, this one is to make a new living organism. This one, make a new living organism, or make a new baby or a new offspring. Okay, making or production or producing a new living organism. So those are the life processes that a cell must sustain. So that's why they are very important for a cell. Okay, next. So again, today we will be discussing the plant cell. So some of the organelles in plant cell can also be found in animal cell. But for you to be familiar more, I will be discussing it again, and then but a little faster, and then we will focus on the organelles that are found only in plants rather.
Right, wait. So, these are the, again, organelles. These are again the organelles that can be found in a cell. So we have again the cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, mitochondria, Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus, ribosomes, smooth ER or smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum. You have cell wall. By the way, these are for your plant cell. Cell wall, chloroplast, and chromatin. Later on we will discuss cell wall. So central vacuole, you have your plants and animals, but larger than plants. Lysosomes again is for animals only. Alright. Okay. Cytoskeleton, of course, I forgot to mention. But cytoskeleton is part of your organelles. Okay. So again, let's have again your cell membrane. Cell membrane. Every cell is enclosed by a cell membrane. It controls the passage of materials in and out of the cell. This one. The thin membrane that separates inside of the cell from outside of the cell. It is partially permeable or semi-permeable. Okay, again, so everyone, when you say again cell membrane, it's like a wall. It's like a wall that dividing or separating from outside or inside of the house or the cells. So, but these wall are semi-permeable, meaning they have like a door wherein some can pass, some cannot. Not all can go inside or not all can go outside. Okay, that's why they call permeable or semi-permeable. Some can go inside but some cannot. Okay, they are selected. Again, they only select what goes inside and what goes outside. This one is made of phospholipids. This is how it looks like when you focus the camera or microscopic, but they look like a wall or a thin wall. Okay, that is your cell membrane. They covered the cell, they protect the cell and separate from outside and inside. Okay, next slide please. Alright, so we have here the cytoskeleton rather. It is a network of thin fibrous filaments that serves as the bones and muscles of the cell. Microfilaments are cytoskeletons that are also attached to the cell membrane. Again, microfilaments are cytoskeletons that are also attached to the cell membrane. They are responsible for giving the cell its shape. What are those? They are so-called microfilaments. Microtubules are cytoskeletons that are connected to the cell membrane. They serve as the anchorage of the organelles in the cells. So this cytoskeleton serves as the muscles and bones of our cell, meaning they give shape to our cell. But the problem is, or the thing is, not the problem, the thing is it has two types, your microfilaments and you have microtubules. When you say microfilaments, this one is attaching into the cell membrane. So meaning it gives your, this one is not, this one is attached to your cell membrane and this one is the one that is responsible for shape. But the microtubules, they are not connected with the cell membrane and they give the organelles the anchorage, or they serve as the, they hold the organelles in the cytoplasm. Okay, so microfilaments for shape, while your microtubules anchorage of your organelles in the cytoplasm. Alright, next. So again, we have the cell or the nucleus. Sorry. So we have again the nucleus. This is an organelle, but rather the control system of our cell. This is the brain of our cell. So this nucleus is the control center of the cell that contains DNA. What again is DNA? DNA are the things, or the inside DNA have this. This is found in the chromosomes wherein, or the DNA are found in the chromosomes wherein they have the information that we need for the cell to survive or to live. Again, that's how important the DNA is. Like they have the data of the cell. Okay, so it is where the nucleus, or it is inside the nucleus. So we have, this is your nucleus. The whole thing is a nucleus. The coverage is the so-called nuclear membrane. These are nucleolus. These are the chromosomes. Inside of this is the DNA. Okay, so let's have the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm again is not an organelle, same with the nucleus, but it is important because all organelles live and float around in the cytoplasm. Okay, so they are floating. This blue thing here, you see, this is the cell, the whole cell. This is the membrane, and everything is covered with blue. For example, you remove these things, the large particles. What you have is the jelly-like blue thing here. That is your cytoplasm. Okay? If the organelles were removed, jelly-like substance found between the cell membrane and in the nucleus. That is your cytoplasm. Many chemical reactions happen in the cytoplasm. It contains the organelles, which is the soluble part. That would be left is called cytosol. It contains mainly of water and dissolved substances such as amino acids in it. Amino acids is a nutrient. It's very important also for the DNA. Okay? So, again, cytoplasm is where the organelles are embedded or attached. This is the blue part here. The large blue part. That is your cytoplasm. Alright, so next slide. So we have again the mitochondria. Some call it mitochondrion. Okay? So it is the powerhouse. Why powerhouse? Because this mitochondria or mitochondrion is the one that makes energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay? So again, in the mitochondria, they have the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a process wherein the cell is producing or making ATP or energy. Okay, so that's why it's called powerhouse or the energy source. Okay, the energy producing organelle. The more the cell needs or the part of the body needs energy, the more the mitochondria. Like for example, is the muscle. Okay, so they have mitochondria. Okay, next slide. So we have the Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus. As I mentioned, the protein packaging and transport center of the cell. As you can see here, this circle is a vesicle. It can be outgoing, meaning it's going out of the Golgi complex, or going or incoming or going inside the Golgi complex. Vesicles. This one is the spelling of vesicles. These are the vesicles. So they are the packaging and transporting center of the cell. Alright. So we have again the ribosomes. Again, the ribosomes are not enclosed by membrane, but most of the organelles in a prokaryotic cell is enclosed by a membrane, meaning they have the coverings. Okay? What do you think will happen if there is no covering? What? Okay, so if there is no covering, the thing is that this cell might, or these organelles inside the cell might go mixed up. Okay, so it's very important for the organelles to have their own membrane. So ribosomes is the one synthesized protein, or the one that makes protein, present in the cytoplasm, present in the rough ER. Okay, they have no membrane. Okay, so again, your ribosomes can be in the cytoplasm, but most of the time they are also attached in the plasmic reticulum, in rough endoplasmic reticulum. Alright, so next one. So as I've mentioned, we have the smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum. So this one is the smooth. This one is the rough. It looks rough because again, they have ribosomes in it. So if transporting and packaging is the Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus, this one is the one that transport all throughout the cell, or the transport, the delivery guy, delivery man. Again, transport material throughout the cell, produce lipids and hormones. Lipids are nutrients. Hormones, they are not nutrients, but it's needed by the body. Okay, so they produce that one. Okay, so again smooth. This one is the rough. Same function, but the thing is have ribosome, so they have additional functions such as your protein. Okay, so they are actually the rough is not the one producing the protein, but the ribosomes in it are the ones that producing protein. All right. So next one, again, vacuole is like a storage room wherein the plants and the animal cell stores their nutrients. But in plant cell, they are bigger than animal cell because they stores a lot of nutrients that they need for production, of course, of food or making of food. So they are fluid filled, meaning they have fluid inside. So this one also help the maintains the pressure and the shape of the cell. The turgor is like elasticity. Okay, how elastic the cell would be. Okay. So these things are the specific organelles inside, of course, your plant cell. So let's talk about cell wall. So aside from your cell membrane, you have your cell wall. Look at this photo. The outer part is the cell wall. Well, inside of it, this layer is your so-called cell membrane. Right? So cell wall is a stiff, non-living wall that surrounds the cell membrane made of cellulose. Again, it's a stiff, it's non-living. It is made of cellulose. Protects the cell from injury. Gives the plant cell a fixed shape. Cell wall is fully permeable. Alright, when you say fully permeable, it allows everything to go inside or to go outside. Okay. Why do these plants have cell wall? What do you think is the reason why? Okay, so the plant cells are exposed, meaning they're exposed to the environment. Unlike us humans, we have the skin. Or animals, we have the skin. Our cells are protected by the skin. But these plant cells, they are protected by cell wall. They don't have skin. Alright, so these cell walls are non-living stiff wall that surrounds and protect your cell membrane. So you have the protective coverings here. You have cell wall and you have your cell membrane. Okay, plastids. Plastids are doubled membrane, found in plant cells. Some protozoans and bacteria, chlorophyds or chloroplasts are the most common plastids in the green plants. It contains green pigments called chlorophyll. This one. Chlorophyll. Chloroplasts are energy capturing centers in plant cells which are involved in the manufacture of the cells of a I think it's cut already. But this one the plastid contains a chlorophyll. This chlorophyll are the one responsible for capturing light so that they can make that light energy, transform it into food energy in the form of glucose or starch in plants. Okay, so in the process of your photosynthesis. So that's how it is. That's why it's very important. Okay, chloroplast. This is a microscopic view. Chlorophyll containing organelles found in green plants and some protists capture light energy and convert it to chemical energy. Again, chloroplast contains a chlorophyll. Okay?
Attention. This is the plastid, but inside of it is the chloroplast that contains the chlorophyll.
So this is how it looks like. Again, these are responsible for photosynthesis, which of course the making of the food of the plants. Okay, vesicles. Vesicles are organelles that carry materials in and out of the cell. These materials include food particles needed by the cell and waste products secreted by the cell. So these vesicles is like collectors again. They collect what is needed and then they throw what is not needed. Secrete. When you say secrete, it means removal. Okay? So that is your plant cell. So you have a little of difference. So you have cell wall, you have plastids, you have chloroplast or chlorophyll, and you also have vesicles. So this is how you look like, the plant cell. See how tough your cell wall is. Side of this is a cell membrane. This is a cell wall. It's very strong. It's very tough. Okay, so before we answer that, I will play the video again so you can remember what we had with the meeting. So wait a moment. So this is your video.
Cells are the smallest living units of an organism. All cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cell they are. All cells have a cell membrane, which separates the inside of the cell from its environment, cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like fluid, and DNA, which is the cell's genetic material. There are two broad categories of cells. The first category is eukaryotic cells. They have organelles, which include the nucleus and other special parts. Eukaryotic cells are more advanced, complex cells, such as those found in plants and animals. The second category is prokaryotic cells. They don't have a nucleus or membrane-enclosed organelles. They do have genetic material, but it's not contained within a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are always one-celled or unicellular organisms, such as bacteria. So, what are organelles? Organelle means little organ. Organelles are the specialized parts of a cell that have unique jobs to perform. Let's start with the nucleus, the control center of the cell. The nucleus contains DNA, or genetic material. DNA dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Chromatin is the tangled, spread-out form of DNA found inside the nuclear membrane. When a cell is ready to divide, DNA condenses into structures known as chromosomes. The nucleus also contains a nucleolus, which is a structure where ribosomes are made. After ribosomes leave the nucleus, they will have the important job of synthesizing or making proteins. Outside the nucleus, the ribosomes and the rest of the organelles float around in cytoplasm, which is the jelly-like substance. Ribosomes may wander freely within the cytoplasm or attach to the endoplasmic reticulum, sometimes abbreviated as ER. There are two types of ER. Rough ER has ribosomes attached to it, and smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. The endoplasmic reticulum is a membrane-enclosed passageway for transporting materials, such as the proteins synthesized by ribosomes. Proteins and other materials emerge from the endoplasmic reticulum in small vesicles, where the Golgi apparatus, sometimes called the Golgi body, receives them. As proteins move through the Golgi body, they're customized into forms that the cell can use. The Golgi body does this by folding the proteins into usable shapes, or adding other materials onto them, such as lipids or carbohydrates. Vacuoles are sac-like structures that store different materials. Here, in this plant cell, the central vacuole stores water. Going back to the animal cell, you will see an organelle called a lysosome. Lysosomes are the garbage collectors that take in damaged or worn-out cell parts. They are filled with enzymes that break down this cellular debris. The mitochondrion is an organelle that is the powerhouse for both animal and plant cells. During a process called cellular respiration, the mitochondria make ATP molecules that provide the energy for all of the cell's activities. Cells that need more energy have more mitochondria. Meanwhile, the cell maintains its shape through a cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton includes the thread-like microfilaments, which are made of protein, and microtubules, which are thin, hollow tubes. Some organisms, such as plants, that are photoautotrophic, meaning they capture sunlight for energy, have cells with an organelle called a chloroplast. The chloroplast is where photosynthesis happens. It's green because it has a green pigment called chlorophyll. Plant cells also have a cell wall outside of their cell membranes that shape, support, and protect the plant cell. Animal cells never have a cell wall. There are many other unique structures that only some cells have. Here are just a few. In humans, for example, the respiratory tract is lined with cells that have cilia. These are microscopic hair-like projections that can move in waves. This feature helps trap inhaled particles in the air and expels them when you cough. Another unique feature in some cells is flagella. Some bacteria have flagella. A flagellum is like a little tail that can help a cell move or propel itself. The only human cell that has a flagellum is a sperm cell. In summary, remember, eukaryotic cells are plant and animal cells with a nucleus and membrane-enclosed organelles, while prokaryotic cells are unicellular organisms without these things. All cells have a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. And even though only plant cells have chloroplasts, both plant and animal cells have mitochondria.
Alright, so that is our video presentation. So now, let us be familiar with a plant cell. So again, you have your ribosomes here, a nucleus, a nucleolus, rough ER. Actually, the rough ER should have ribosomes. So this one is the most ER. As I mentioned, the ribosomes can be in the cell wall, in the rough ER, or can be in the, excuse me, cytoplasm. This is the mitochondria, Golgi bodies. These are the cell wall. And this thin layer here is a cell membrane. These are the chloroplast. Of course, this thing is this one is the pitch. I don't know what color is this, your cytoplasm, where the organelles reside. And this is your vacuole. See how big it is. They have to store materials here. And that is your plant cell. So let's now go to your quiz. So let's try to remember the parts of your plant cell. Alright, try to answer. By the way, in your quiz, it's just the same photo that you have to identify. Okay, Have you answered all the parts of your plant cells? Alright, let's answer now. So again, ribosomes is here, but this one also are ribosomes, this small thing here. So ribosomes, smooth ER, nucleolus, rough ER or endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, cell wall, cell membrane is inside, chloroplast, cytoplasm, this and this, and the vacuole. So that is your animal cell, plant cell rather. So that is our lesson for today, and see you again next week, S1. I hope you learned something for this week's topic. So thank you and keep safe everyone. Bye.